You are listening to the Awakened Superhuman podcast, the show that delivers the insights and strategies into living above being human. We are in an era of superhumans, and your superpowers are needed to manifest a cosmic destiny. My name is Emily, the Angel Coach, your host, an internationally recognized intuitive coach, teacher, and thought leader. I've worked with celebrities, CEOs, influencers, and individuals of varying ages and backgrounds. Join me as we reveal the how into awakening your superhuman so that you can more easily design a life of clarity, purpose, and delicious fulfillment. It is time for us to rise, create, and manifest a cosmic destiny. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. If today is your first time here with me, hello and welcome. And if you have come and joined me before, thank you for rejoining me again. I am grateful for today's episode. I have been moving through physical healing, and it's always beautiful to witness how it gives me an opportunity not to just learn more about myself and the dynamics going on personally, but how to serve the collective as well. And in today's episode, we are diving into the sacred and often the unseen relationship between the physical body and the holographic field that we are swimming in, that we're part of, that moves through us, all around us, this field of consciousness. We're exploring how healing is not just a physical process, it's an emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic, and ancestral as well at times. You'll hear how true transformation can happen instantly when we work in the quantum field, in the field of consciousness, and how this mirrors what is happening on a much larger scale in our collective right now. There is a system reset underway, not just within our individual bodies, but across humanity in many, many lifetimes. And today we are going to unpack what that really means and how we can dive into it with more grace and ease. So if you, as I'm saying that, it's interesting how energy is moving in my throat. So as I'm saying all of this, if this is resonating and you yourself have been moving through healing, this is the perfect show for you. And it's already been 3 weeks of some changes that my body has been moving through. But in the last weekend, it really came to heads. And I say that meaning that I physically felt sick and had to really dive into the gift of receiving from professional support through doctors and things like that, and had to take time to really just let go and relax and do nothing. And it was beautiful because in the process of it, in my receiving, it also opens me up to receiving even more insights that help me to be of service through whatever it is that I'm moving through in the human, as well as what we are moving through collectively. And the other night I was woken up around 12:30, and around 12:30 I was being invited to do a meditation. And as I started doing the meditation, and I'm actually going to guide what I did in the meditation to invite you to do the same, whether it is that you're moving through physical healing, emotional, mental, whatever it may be. My voice is starting to change. It's an invitation to move you into more well-being, more alignment, more joy within and all around you. Energy's moving to that. So if you're listening to me for the first time, when energy moves is that there is there's imprints in our psychology, in our mindset, in our emotions, in our bodies, in our field that are shape-shifting. I'm going to say shape-shifting. And it's allowing us to move into the places and spaces that bring us home, more into clarity, more into understanding, more into alignment, and more into the truth of who and what we are, which goes beyond these physical bodies. And what I did is that I closed my eyes and I started taking deep breaths. And in the breathing, I was inviting my whole body to be flushed with light, with that what I call love, infinite intelligence, source, God, Holy Spirit, literally moving up and down my body. So I start from the feet and I inhale in light, and then I release the light, right? So I do this system flush, let's say this body flush. And I kept doing that. And then as I was doing that, I was inviting for that which is love, unconditional love, to hold me, to guide me, to restore me, and to show me. And in that process, what started unfolding is that I was very quickly carried into what felt like a little portal because I felt like I was traveling and I was being taken. And that, again, has been happening since I was a little girl. And usually that happens when the angels, divine, Holy Spirit, the manifestations of love start teaching and helping me to understand some concepts. And during this experience, it's not that I was physically able to remember where I went or how things unfolded on the other side of that experience, because I fell asleep, or I thought I fell asleep. And then when I came back, I literally felt the light moving through my body the way that I had initiated it with the breathing in and out. So in this conversation, as I'm about to share the next part of the experience, I do want to encourage all of you, if you are moving anything, and that could even just be that you're trying to move or open to moving anything, even in the unknown, that could move into more healing. You can flush it with that light, right? Very simple breath in and out, flushing the light through your body and just bringing yourself the intention that you're coming home and into alignment. So when it was done, I felt it in my body. And then all of a sudden I heard this voice, this beautiful voice say, system reset. And I heard the snap. And when the snap happened, I felt literally like my body shivered, and I felt this movement of energy, but I also felt my own energetic state, my own self just coming into that place of well-being. Now, I have to say my body's still healing. And as I share today, some of these exercises is part of what I am practicing as well, and needing to do more as well, and looking forward to taking time to do more of that today as I move and welcome more of the transitions and the healing that's happening in the body. But they audibly said system reset. And in the moment, I, of course, am taking it that they were taking care of my body, and there's a system reset that's happening for me. And a lot of times it's really difficult for a human, right, for the human to understand how sometimes chaos is part of the reset. Chaos, whether it's something we're seeing collectively, or chaos happening in our life, or chaos happening in our bodies, or chaos even happening with our mindset. The chaos happens at times to offer the opportunity for a reset to occur, for a reset to take place, meaning that those structures and things that were in place before needed to be shooken up. Those things need to be shaken up so that they can rise to the surface, so that, like that idea of an ant pile, right? So that things can come out, so that which is the unseen, that which is in the structure of whatever it is unfolding or happening in our lives, can be redefined, redesigned, and reconstructed. And as they were saying the system reset, it was both like an energetic reset, because I felt like they were letting me know that in the movement of my body and the fever that was part of it and all of that, there's things that are coming up so that they can just completely be dismantled, so that then a new level of relationship, not just with myself, with others, with life itself, can evolve and move into the experience of who and what I am here in this body as Emily. And it's really beautiful, because the days that followed after, part of what I shared in my private group with the Feminine Flow community, and also just in general in my own understanding, they said it's also what's happening collectively. You know, it's been happening for a while, by the way. This is not just today. This reset has been happening for our collective for a while, and we're going to see the evolution of it here even more in this year and in throughout the years. It's an opportunity for us to see a lot of the things that have been happening under the surface, things that seem like preposterous to a lot of us, that are hiding in the unseen, things that are very much possibly even considered, you know, crimes against humanity, and things that are just not going to be what most of us are going to celebrate. And it's not good or bad. It's just more of an acknowledgement that things are rising to the surface for us to witness, for us to see, offering us the opportunity for us to decide whether we are going to recreate the same technologies, the same mindset, the same behaviors, the same patterns, or are we choosing to welcome more of what's on the other side when chaos occurs? What's on the other side that is cultivating the experience of freedom outside of the past and outside of what we've known, so that we can experience more of the potentials that really are part of what we're here to build in this lifetime that we're in this movement that we're in. And even with my own physical body, right? It's like as this stuff is going through my body, there's old thoughts, old emotions, old structures that are coming up for me to move into this decision. Am I keeping this for my tomorrow? Am I keeping it today? Or am I choosing to surrender that as well as my body moves into higher states of grace, higher states of understanding, and higher states of welcoming for more insights, more information, more technology to take place in my own mission, in my own path, in my own circles, and in my own work. So, as we move into today's conversation, I want to acknowledge that when it's happening collectively, to the extent that it's happening now, it's happening for all of us individually in some way. And my voice is trying to change right away when I say that, meaning that all of us are experiencing this beautiful evolution of expansion and upgrades. And some of us are going to see it very clearly in our journey where there's like this chaos, this illness, this bug, this thank you. They're saying the word fragmentation of certain things that have been in our past, just kind of being shooken. And the reason those things are being shooken, not because we're stuck, not because there's anything wrong, not because we are going the wrong direction, none of the above, but they're happening because we are being, like the collective right now is being offered this opportunity. We're being invited to decide, what is it that you want to take into your tomorrow? Are you wanting to experience the reset opportunity that is being offered right now so that you can welcome it, so that you can lean in, so that you can create with it? Or are you wanting to continue the patterns, the emotions, the thoughts, the recycling of the past that at times we do, because it's not just connected with us, it's connected with our ancestors, our family lineage, and the things that have been part of what we've known, and even in the unknown, because it's the family, it's in the family dynamics. So, as we step into today, part of this conversation is that as I'm sharing that this is happening, I'm also going to be sharing 3 things to explore in the next week for you to carry into and for you to continue. And as my body's been healing, they keep reminding me, the angels and the manifestations of love, is about this holographic field, this ocean that we all are swimming into. And it's exciting to celebrate how science is proving it, right? Science is literally proving it, that this is happening, right? That there's this field all around us that feeds itself into our consciousness, and our consciousness feeds itself back. And it's this harmonic, and it's not that it's inside and outside, but we're in it. It's simultaneously all integrated as one. And that science also shows that even illness will literally hover in this field before it actually manifests in the physical body. And if we're able to change the focus, the thought forms, the conversations, the interactions that are happening in the field, the energetic codes that are happening in the field, that the result of that moving into the physicality can be modified, and it won't happen. It won't land. And again, thank you. They're telling me a study, which I honestly don't know the study, but they're showing me that people even with cancer have had it hovering in the field, and they were able to predict that it was who was going to be getting cancer and who wasn't, based on how it was being seen on the field around the person. So what I'm sharing here is that in the invitation, and part of what's been happening, and I know I get to share it with my group as well, is that it's about investing time and attention to the field that is all around you, and investing more of the time, the attention, the thoughts, the acknowledgement of what it is you're desiring versus what it is you are choosing to let go. So one of the biggest things, here's the one thing that I'm going to add to, we're going to give you 3 tools to explore this week. One is like, how are you incorporating feeding your happy every day? You know, a lot of times we wait for a special moment in our lives. We wait for a celebration, a birthday, anniversary, or a New Year's, or maybe a game. We wait for something to be what gives us permission to move into our happy. But feeding and moving into our happy should be a daily commitment and a daily interaction. So what is it that you can do today to add to that? What is it that you can do every day to add to that feeding your happy? So one of the tools that I give clients when I'm working with them is like, make a list of at least 20 things that feed your happy, 20 things. And ideally you can include things that are big and grandiose, but also a minimum of 10 of those things being things that are very easy to access every day. So for example, what feeds my happy is sitting in nature, which I haven't done that today, right? So taking time in nature, that feeds my happy. That's something that I could put in my list as one of the top 10 things that I can incorporate. But the point of doing the list is giving yourself, your human mind, permission to see that feeding your happy is actually easy. And when we make a list and we've put it on paper and we get to witness, or even just on your phone, and we get to witness, wow, these are 20 things that I can acknowledge clearly feed my happy. And when our human, right, because our human will always find a way to distract itself when it's not in our habits, when it's not in our routines, and it will try to fight for its old identity, our human is going to be like, well, I don't have time for this, or I don't have time to do that today. But if we look at our list and it's like, okay, if I don't have time today, out of my list, out of these 20 things that I have on my list, what do I have time today that will allow my happy to be experienced? And plug it into the day. So again, thank you. And what they're audibly saying, yeah, when the human knows that there's options, that it's not just this or that, when we know we have options, we make it easier to implement and it makes it more practical for a human to move into it and welcome it and make it part of our day. So that's one of the exercises. The second exercise, I want you to just study what repetitive patterns when it comes to your mind and your emotions have been happening in the last, I was going to say the last few weeks, but the angels are saying the last decade. Because once again, we are at a place where our systems are being reset. We are being brought into a place of reset. And when we incorporate the human intellect, the human thought, and we're like, okay, these are some of the repetitive patterns that I know have happened in my experience, or maybe even some of the repetitive patterns of people that are in your life. Maybe your parents, maybe your siblings, maybe even your children, maybe your spouse. What are some of those repetitive patterns? Because whether we realize it or not, we're interconnected. And if there's a repetitive pattern that we can see in someone who's close to our field of influence, there's a reflection that can be witnessed that is part of ourselves as well. So identifying what that repetitive pattern, thoughts, emotions, and all those is, and then decide, am I choosing to keep this? Am I choosing to maintain this? Am I choosing to carry this into tomorrow? And we must begin with the decision of a yes or a no. And if your decision is like, no, I am not choosing to take this into my tomorrow, we move that decision through our field of consciousness. And again, we're talking about the field, right? So we see ourselves claiming the no, asserting the no, like we get it from our belly, the angels are saying. We make the decisions from our belly, we move it to our heart, and then we speak it into the field. I am not choosing to bring this into my tomorrow. I say no to bringing this routine, this pattern into my tomorrow. I choose not to bring it into my tomorrow. They keep saying no or not are the two ways that you need to implement that decision. So you make a decision and then you make another decision. And in that decision, you say, I choose to bring this instead. So, for example, if there's a pattern of lack that has been reoccurring, and the lack can be lack of relationship, lack of money, lack of joy, lack of success, lack of things moving forward, that could be the no, right? I'm not choosing to move this into tomorrow. I say no to bringing this into my tomorrow. Instead, I choose this. So what is it that you could bring instead? Instead, I choose overflow. Instead, I choose a surplus of opportunities, a surplus of connections, a surplus of money, a surplus of joy. I choose this instead. And then very quickly, you identify what that would look like. So taking a moment to identify what that would look like. So for example, seeing yourself coming into a group of people that represent friendships and you feeling the joy of it, the conversation of it, the excitement of it, and moving into that sphere of connection. If it's a beloved and love, seeing yourself coming into union with someone, seeing yourself being embraced, being kissed, making love. If it's with money, seeing yourself receiving money, seeing yourself swimming in money and in the field and in the abundance of overflow all around you. And everywhere you go, opportunities coming to you. Thank you. The angels are saying for me to indicate you could also see like these opportunities all coming to you from all directions, known and unknown. So that's the second exercise that we want to encourage you for this week. And the third exercise, when we're going through a system reset, we must find ways to move our bodies. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go run a mile or 2 or 3 miles, or that you need to go ahead and start doing classes, but you must find a way to move your body, because in the movement of our body, we promote circulation. But not just is it in the physicality that we're promoting circulation, we are promoting circulation in our field. We already talked about, right? A lot of what before it hits our physical body, it's hovering in our holographic field. So by creating movement, we are creating shape shifting in the holographic field as well, and creating circulation in our holographic field as well, so that what can move into our physicality can be full of light, full of love, full of what it is that we're deciding versus of what's been happening in the past. And it doesn't mean that what's been in the past is not good. But again, we're moving outside of recycling, and we're moving into a state of allowing and receiving in the dynamics of this conversation. So finding a way to move your body to move into circulation. They're actually showing me a really funny vision, and they're showing me someone laying in bed, literally like laying in bed. And instead of doing like, they're literally showing me crisscross, like you're crisscrossing your arms up and down, your legs, literally like the scissors, like going like this with your legs, going like that with your hands. And they're showing me that even if the movement is that limited, like meaning like, well, I can't really move today. I can't really, maybe you're in physical pain and I can't move much. Even if you do that kind of movement in your bed, that is a form of movement that will promote circulation, not just for the physical you, but also the energetic part of you, so that circulation can allow the reset to move into its state of well-being with more grace and ease. So those are the 3 things that I want to encourage and celebrate, that I'm not just sharing them with you, but I'll also be doing them as well. As once again, the voice was very clear the other night, and they said system reset. And it's not just something that's happening with my own experience physically, but also just collectively. And when we move through things like this collectively, as I shared earlier, inevitably it's happening to all of us individually. And when we move into these simple steps, sometimes as humans, we complicate things way too much. The angels have been literally saying that to me since I was a little girl. It's like humans overcomplicate, and we do. As humans, we overcomplicate, and we literally talk ourselves out of our blessings. We intentionally and unintentionally talk ourselves out of our blessings. So there's so many simple tools that we can move into, which again, I just gave you very simple 3 things that will help you move into the state of reset, which allows you to receive and welcome more of the well-being, more of the overflow, more of what it is celebrated as love and desires that represent fulfillment. And moreover, thank you, they keep saying an overflow of all that is yummy and good, an overflow of all that is wonderful, yummy, and good. Thank you so much for those that joined live, those that joined on replay. I'm so grateful for your presence, sending a huge hug, and looking forward to next week, as we will continue to share not just guidance that can help you personally, but also insights that are happening with our world that will help you move into thriving with more grace and ease on a daily experience. I never know what they're going to talk about, so it's one of those things that I can't tell you what we'll talk about next week, but I can guarantee it's going to be beautiful, wonderful, and powerful. Mwah. Much love and many blessings. And thank you again, those that are here live.
You are listening to the Awaken Superhuman podcast, the show that delivers the insights and strategies into living above being human. We are in an era of superhumans, and your superpowers are needed to manifest a cosmic destiny. My name is Emily, the Angel Coach, your host, an internationally recognized intuitive coach, teacher, and thought leader. I've worked with celebrities, CEOs, influencers, and individuals of varying ages and backgrounds. Join me as we reveal the how into awakening your superhuman, so that you can more easily design a life of clarity, purpose, and delicious fulfillment. It is time for us to rise, create, and manifest a cosmic destiny.